Hello, my beautiful Stella. My name is Nabi, and it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm a Moon Mermaid VTuber who likes to play cozy and horror games on the Purple app. But today on the YouTube channel, we're doing something a little different, and probably the first time I've ever done myself. So if I am a little stumbly, a little nervous, or a little shy, please forgive me because it's my first time ever doing this. I'm a shy bean. We all know that Nabi's very shy. For those who don't know, I am a very, 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 very shy bean. Like, I'm extremely shy. But we are going to be, well, I'm going to be talking about certain manhwas and giving a in-depth feeling of how I feel about the manhwa and giving a more emotional point of view. And today, the first manhwa we're going to be doing is Stepmother's Marchen, which is my top 10 favorite manhwas ever to ever exist. Just saying. So today we're talking about a Stepmother's Marchen, or like I was saying, like a fantasies of a stepmother. We're going to be talking about how the author did a fantastic job and how she was able to incorporate of not only breaking my heart, but breaking a lot of people's hearts and being able to sympathize with this character, Shuri, or Shuli, as some people know her. But as you know, it's tomato, tomato. On a more serious note, though, I can relate to this character a lot because I also had to grow up way too fast for my age. I had to take on responsibilities that I didn't need to do as a child, and I can relate to her on a lot of aspects of being like a motherly role of a young age, that when she should be more focusing on her growing up, experiencing love, doing kid things like playing dolls, being free, being able to plan her future without being forced into a political marriage, because unfortunately a lot of people back in that day, they tend to have done that. From the get-go, it says right in the synopsis, and it introduces you as the reader of the struggle she has. And the synopsis says, Shuri von Neuschwanstein, who after being widowed becomes a young head of a noble household. She struggles to raise her 4 hostile stepchildren, earning a harsh reputation until a twisted fate allows her to relive her life, changing her approach to nurturing love and trust. This is the synopsis of the story. As you know, as it's already introducing to you, that the reader, that Shuri is already being forced to be married when she was 16 years old. And the sad thing is that she had to become a mother not only at 16, but she had to be forced into a cold household. A cold household where nobody wanted her, especially not the children. The children didn't want her. They most certainly did not want her. Jeremy, Elise, Leon, and Rachel, they did not want her. They did not want her whatsoever, because understandably, from their point of view, she was just a 16-year-old girl, and they were like a few years younger than her. And they just had lost their mother. And it's just in the story when she comes back to the second timeline, they lost their father. So not only have they lost both their parents, but they're being taken care of by a stranger who, in their eyes, she's only a few years older. Understandably, they're gonna rebel and not want her there. But from Shuri's point of view, she's not only been forced against her will to marry, she's taking care of kids who are not only ungrateful to her, they treat her like garbage. Let's not talk about the scene where they dumped a bucket of cold water on her. A lot of these examples, it shows that she had to get rid of this childhood that she had and get rid of it and be forced into raising children that are not grateful for everything she's doing. Again, understandable. They're already missing their own mother. They're gonna say you're not a replacement to her mom. And then their father dies not too long after, and it's they don't want to listen. But spoilers for those who haven't read further into the story, because unfortunately this has to be mentioned. Shuri, in the first timeline, went through her whole life until the age of 23, thinking that they never loved her, that they mistreated her, that she did everything in her power to literally protect him, from making up rumors that she had a lover, to being cold and different to them, to being the perfect Marchioness, everything under the sun that you can think of. She literally was to the T giving up to make sure that they were fine and that Jeremy was going to be head of heir and everything, and she was going to step down, only for her to die, not knowing that the kids actually did love her, that they loved her. Yes, they loved her. They literally, too late, stupid kids, not showing her the love, and that it was too late, and by the time they got news that she was dead, they regretted it. So, unfortunately, she will never know that. She will never know in the second timeline that the first timeline that they did love her. However, unfortunately, she can't go back. And she can't re-obtain her childhood. She can't. So she has to go through, again, with the grief of Johannes. Again, another spoiler. I will kind of... Unfortunately, she was also abused by Johannes as well during this time, not only being a young child forced to being a mother of children she never asked for, but also being abused by this man and seeking comfort from her own mother, only for her mother to tell her that this is typical and that she should deal with it. And being told that if she doesn't make it work, she's essentially useless. Like, this is her whole thing of being a woman, to help her family maintain the money, and that this is better for her future. You know, it's sad, because the manhwa shows it so well that all these kids have their wall up, and every time Shuri tries to, like, break the wall, you can literally see it, like, as in someone is reaching out for air while they're drowning. And I think that is such a beautifully written detail that not a lot of people like to really touch upon. Yeah, we talk about it, but it's not really deeply talked about. But the fact that this whole political marriage happened only because she looked like, another spoiler, she looked like the woman that Johannes loved. And it was so messed up and so disgusting of him that he just thrusted all this work on her, not only abusing her, not only the children hating her, not only her family not also being abusive to her beforehand. She had no home to call herself home. It was at this point all her death and everything was essentially, like, useless. And it brings a pain to my chest, because, like, you can feel the pressure of her being mature when she's still a child. Like, Rachel, Leon, Jeremy, and Elias, they still have that luxury to experience that childhood, to be able to grow, and she makes sure of that in the second timeline. Like, she fosters their hobbies, she makes sure that they're treated well, because their family was also being a little bit too rude to the children. And she chucks those family members out, and she makes sure that they're filled with love and happiness, which is the whole big storyline of Stepmother's Marchen, of why, like, that unconditional love that they have, that it becomes essentially a problem later. They become too wary of this love that the family has, and they find it odd, because, again, people are so used to growing up fast as children, forcing children to lose their innocence, and throwing away what love and family really is. And that's what the whole big thing that the church was trying to capitalize on, the story. And I can keep going on and listing too much, but I don't want this to be too long. My final point that I want to list into this video, and if you guys do like it, I will definitely do a part 2 and a part 3 continuing on the subject. But let's not sugarcoat of how traumatic everything is for Shuri, and that the one person that understood her was Nora. He, from the first timeline to the second timeline, understood the depth of her. Ironically, the first timeline was only once, but yet the fact that this man literally understood her, and that he saw that duty, the responsibility. He knew that this woman was putting on a front for these children, all for one interaction. And now that since they're obviously a lot closer in the second timeline, like he loves her for her. Like he sees her, he understands the weight of responsibility and not being able to do the things he loved, like him not being able to paint, him not being able to do, like him keeping his swordsmanship a secret because, you know, his father and mother always prioritized his cousin. You know, it shows that he also lost a lot of his childhood because of this. I mean, he still has the luxury of not, you know, being forced in marriage, but eventually he will, if it was going by realistic expectations. And the sad thing is, that's another thing that again marks about Shuri's childhood being taken away, is that she's not able to fall in love with who she wants to fall in love with. And unfortunately, that is Nora. She can't love him. She can't be with him. Because not only is she a widow woman, she is a mature woman. And she cannot... She's deemed filthy now because she was claimed she's married. She's forced against her will, like I keep pointing out. She can't be with the man she wants to be with. And obviously she's in love with him. She's not acknowledging it because she feels like she doesn't have the right to fall in love because, again, she's the Marchioness of the Neuschwanstein household. And she can't do anything about it. So, I don't know what you guys think. If you guys have read it, please tell me. Please let me know. Because honestly, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts about it. I think it would be great to hear everything about your guys' opinion. What do you think about Shuri? Who's your favorite character? If you guys want to hear me talk about part 2, please let me know. I would love to continue because I'm not even going into the full story about the romance or like the full like gut punching about thinking that nobody loved her. Like, I touched it very lightly. But yeah, so if you guys want to hear more, please let me know. I would love to hear your opinion. Thank you for watching this. Bye-bye. And also, if this manhwa makes you cry too, just like it's made me cry, grab a plushie. Just like I did with my happy plushie. Bye-bye.